know what's going on. This is the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, and you're listening to the Sports Jedi Network. You get me?
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
I'm Tom Hannafin from TNA Wrestling. You're watching the Jedi Sports Network.
Tune into Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you.
What's up, Kevin? It's me, Miles Bourne. I just wanted to come on here real quick and say thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, and the fact that you're there every Tuesday really means a lot to me.
Hey guys, this is Elena Black, and you are watching Sports Jedi Network.
This is AJ Francis, and you're with Sports Jedi Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to the Padawan Awakening here on the Sports Jedi Nation. What's up, Jedi Nation? That's the road to Heatwave. It's officially complete. And tonight, NXT gave us weapons, championship implications, surprise victories, and one of the final opportunities for the superstar to make their statement before Heatwave tonight. We're going to break it all down. As you know, I'm one half of the Padawan Awakening host. I am BX Sports Jedi Kev. Hoss Knucklebrew will join us a little later, and I'm going to give it to the captain here who can navigate us, the one and only Mr. Jeff Lippman. What's up?
What's going on, everyone? So I guess we're going to find out Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time from Edinburg, Scotland. Oh no, Edinburg, Texas. Who's going to reach the summit? And we had a little summit to discuss it. And we're going to discuss all things summitacious today. I didn't know what a Heatwave Summit was going to be, but that's not really what I think of when I think of a summit. But we opened up with something that we knew we had to get out of the way. We were hoping for better. Saquon Shugars against Dion, Lennox to settle this dark state thing. Weaponized steel cage. Osiris Griffin, Cutler James, nowhere to be seen. And we get Saquon coming in, and I gotta say, I hate his music. I hated his jeans. I hated the way he sort of strolled in trying to mimic Jada Parker's cadence when walking. It just looked so phony baloney. I don't get his character. I don't understand sort of like from the waist up he like tries to be hood, but like his jeans were from like Hangman Adam Page's like overstock from 3 years ago when he was wearing like butterfly and rose jeans. So I don't know. It's a confusing character to me. But the funny thing was in this match at some point Booker T referred to Robert Stone as the actual promoter, so I was cracking up during that. So that was Booker. I'm not sure what Booker was doing tonight for the most part, but he was obviously entertaining himself because he was not paying attention to what was going on in the matches for the most part. He was on his own pages, and you know what? I wish I was reading from the same book the book was reading, but I was watching the show, and sheesh, I hate saying this to our Padawan audience because NXT is actually my favorite show of the week generally. But I don't know, maybe, doing a podcast on it is bad luck, or maybe just I'm a nitpicker by nature, but I don't know. The shows, ever since we've come on together, the shows haven't been that great. And even like last week, which I thought was a much improved show, led to this one, which was a go-home show. And I don't know if this is wrestling-wide, but it's like wrestling promoters don't seem how to do go-home shows anymore.
Yeah, because a lot of times the reputation of the go-home show is to be safe, kind of, if you're on the fence, want to go and buy the event, if you're back in the day, you want to pay your $49.99, $39.99, or order the subscription. But CW, you can watch it over the air antenna. You're not, you're either a fan of it and you're going to watch it, or you're not, simply, so maybe that's where they're going to step back or lean back, that they don't really have to put a major effort on the go home. But that's not just NXT issue. We're talking about that. We see that all across the board in all professional wrestling with their go home shows.
Agree.
They're losing the art of the go home show pull you in. I guess they feel like if they already got you invested and you're buying the apps and you're spending your money, or it's automatically auto removed, you're going to tune in because you're ready, you have no choice. So they say we already got you. We're really not going to have to put the effort to buy. I don't know. But I want to talk about the match with the.
But before we get into that, just so that everyone's clear, the AAA show, is that also in Edinburg?
Yes, it's the same arena. It's
Same
but
arena.
different times. It starts at noon.
That starts at noon
for the AAA show.
Right, and is that on YouTube?
That's on YouTube as well. So they're making you go to two different locations to view it, instead of having it all on the CW, or if they or all on YouTube. But no, since they have their different streaming rights, with I'm pretty sure they're gonna go off the air with AAA on YouTube. Hey, we'll see you, and they'll probably end it at 2 hours and 30 minutes for AAA, and then at 3 o'clock they go on a CW with the NXT brand, and in between. So it'll probably be a 2 hour, 2.5 hour AAA show, and then at 3 o'clock they'll go back on with Heatwave from the CW app, which is kind of funky because you gotta look for it in different places, but that's modern wrestling now. Now they're making you look for it. You have ESPN. If you want before all that, and then you have to switch over to the ESPN app if you don't have it to watch the WrestleMania was like that. So that's something that they're doing a custom. Is it a pain in the neck for the younger generation? The younger technologically smart, they'll do it with no problem. For us a little more older, it could become a little bit of a hassle or a pain in the ass. But we have to adapt. It is. You're making it a hassle and a chore on a Sunday.
You owe nothing to YouTube. I mean, having a YouTube channel, we're on YouTube. I have a channel too with 165 subscribers on it. That's like, it doesn't. There's no commitment to YouTube. So anyway, I don't really understand why they couldn't arrange something with the CW or somebody to air this as a one-time special and get a couple more bucks. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I think it's because of the international crowd, the international feed, because everyone else internationally is going to see both. AAA, you could see it, at Fox in Mexico, but I believe internationally you get to watch AAA through YouTube as well, and also NXT internationally, I believe it's on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's on Netflix. I think NXT is international.
Netflix, yes. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you.
And AAA, WWE has the Espanol version of the channel as well as their own. I mean, they're all false choices, though. YouTube is everywhere. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I'm sure it has to do with contracts and things like that. So anyway, yeah, let's stick to this show for the moment. I suppose we might as well get into it. But yeah, the match that's going to end this rivalry, which is for this,
we hope
sort of, we hope for sort of this faction that was sort of jogged together, had a little bit of success, but never really caught on, never really felt like the real thing.
Yeah, it didn't. It was a blow-off match, where in a very sloppy one. I understand there was some good parts of the match with the cage. They had all weapons all over the place. You had your chairs, you had your trash can lids, you had your kendo sticks, you had tables. All the thing was missing was barbed wire. You even had a great moment with Shugars climb to the top with the high cross body at the end of the match. But there was a lot of sloppiness in executing of some of the matches. That sunset flip that I believe Lennox was supposed to go through the table, Saquon just fell on the back of the chair set up in that corner. I don't know what Lennox was trying to do with the kendo sticks and that chair spot there. That the kendo, he did it like twice. Like, dude, what are you doing? And this is the one thing I was really bothered with the match, and I'm going to critique it. I looked at it after the match was over, and I went online X, and people loved it. I'm like, what the fuck are you watching? I'm sorry to be negative and have the F language on there, because they have a whole week to go through this whole match without the cage. Go with the coaches, put out ideas, rehearse it. That's what they do most of the whole week. They could have put this match to spots, and they still were really sloppy. And Derek Sanders, the referee, Let them wrestle. Every time there's a movie, you could hear him shouting the instructions in their face. He annoys the living bejesus out of me as a referee because let them wrestle. I know it's developmental. I get it. It's developmental. They have to learn. They're trying to learn to get to the main roster, to put on a bigger show for more money, yada, yada. I get that, ladies and gentlemen. But that's why you have the rehearsals. You have the whole week of prepping of these matches, the cadence, all that. They shouldn't be, the referee shouldn't be, every move. Next time you watch him, he's the worst one out of all of them. Every time he has a match, watch him. He's over there running immediately. As soon as the match, you body slam, he's right there giving instructions. Get the fuck out. We're not watching you on NXT. We're watching the performers. You're there to make sure things go. Tell the guys, wrap it up, bring it home. There's breaks. But he's every there throwing instructions. All throwing instructions is, to me, is taking, maybe like you said earlier, Mr. Lippman, maybe because we're watching it as podcasters to review and we're starting to nitpick or see too much, but it's starting to take a little bit of the enjoyment of watching it because, and also Unreal. I'm going to blame Unreal because they want to peek behind the curtain. So if you're not reviewing and recapping it, you see those cadence and it annoys you instead of enjoying it.
Yeah. There's that. I also think that because WWE tries to have a safer environment to the extent that you can in wrestling, the cages, the matches are supposed to be the most brutal. The wrestlers seem to be pulling back and they seem to be just a little bit slower. They seem to be going to like 80% speed, not 100% speed. So unless you're like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, who can wrestle at 100% and still be mostly safe. I mean, we remember the giant gash on Drew's head, you know, and work through it when things happen. Maybe these aren't the best ideas as far as matches. Now, let me go through my highlights and lowlights because they're sort of the same. I thought the missile drop kick to the trash can when Dion Lennox had the trash can over him and Saquon hit that like at the top of the head. I thought that was a fun spot. I thought the body slam onto the stacked chairs was a fun spot. There was a point where Dion had to throw himself into the cage because Saquon lost his grip, you know, about 18 inches before. And that was, you know, I mean, let's be honest. If that was on AEW, everybody would be circulating that as, whoa, this is where the best wrestle. I mean, you know, that was Dark Order guys missing Dustin Rhodes by, you know, 3 feet punches worthy on that. The bat made an appearance. Fine. We knew that was going to happen. I don't know where it came from, but, you know, there should have been a little bit more drama as to where he hid the bat and, you know, that he outsmarted Dion with that.
Before you move on from the bat on this one, can I chime in real quick? Sorry to interrupt on this one, the bat. Yeah. He takes the bat, he uses the bat in the throat, and he hits Dion Lennox on the neck, and he jams the bat through the neck. You get a bat jammed in your throat, you're out for a few seconds. No, Lennox immediately no-so. They got back up and he ended up doing another move. I was like, come on. I understand you're short on there's timing stuff, but you gotta sell that bat into your throat. Sure. It was that right there. I was a little annoyed. Sorry to interrupt on that, but I had to bring that up.
It's the defeater. That sometimes is a finisher with a bat that should at least gotten a 2.5 count. I agree. My favorite part of the match, and this should not surprise anyone, but it's probably not, is when the table actually suffered from Garganoism and the table itself planked. So I was just waiting for Candice LeRae to try and give it a pep talk and Sami Zayn to come out and start having a conversation with it. So thank you, Johnny Gargano. Your influence on the locker room and the equipment and even inanimate objects like a table. It's great. You deserve it. Clap, 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 clap. That is wrestling. That was fantastic. I will not deny that the splash from the top of the cage was great. It had to be the finisher. Though in a cage match, is it something that we haven't seen a whole bunch of times before? No, I mean, Superfly Snuka made that a big deal like in 1980. And listen, I'm okay with these things being brought back, but when it's a cage match, like something more than just a wrestling move plus should win the match. It should be something involving the weapons or whatever, and it probably should have been something with the bat.
That's his signature. Saquon comes out with his bat, because that's his neutralizer against the group the Dark State, and that should have been the finisher, the bat.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that 100%.
Here's my fear,
yeah.
Mr. Lim. Here's my fear. He gets this victory, and now they could probably establish him as a future North American champion contender. I'm like,
I suppose, that's fine because he'll lose to Jackson Drake, so Heartbreak Drake. So I'm okay with that. I guess are we gonna do predictions at the end of the show for Heatwave? I guess we might as well.
we might as well.
All right. Well, another thing that I didn't love about this show is that despite having a summit, which is, at least what you think of as a summit is everyone's going to get a chance to cut their promo and tell their story and, have some back and forth. But it's wrestling, so everyone's going to have their chance to say their piece. We got them all individually saying their pieces separately, including the next promo with Blake Howard with Tony D, which, by the way, Tony D's promo, I mean, he was a little flat in his delivery, but what he said made sense. He reminded us that he's the one who put down Obafemi first, and he did 3 times. 3 times did. The only Grand Slam champion. That he won this title by beating 3 other guys, and he's going to retain this title by beating 3 other guys. So all of the words were good. His facial expressions were fine, but I don't know, his voice. He sounded bored. It sounded like a rehearsal. And Blake Howard ain't no Mean Gene Okerlund. He doesn't add to. He's just a cardboard cutout holding a microphone. He's not part of the show. Like, the interviewers used to be part of the show. I mean, they wouldn't take it over, but they added something. Gordon Soley added something. Lance Russell added something. Jesse added something. Vince added something. I mean, the list can go on and on. Pick whoever your favorites were. Even Tony Schiavone, added something. Now, arguably, he takes away. But I don't know. This to have the same people say the same things on the same show twice seems unnecessary. I mean, that's what social media is for. That's what what the clip shows are for. Put those things on social media. Don't waste our TV time with that.
I agree. Blake Howard reminded me of Rich Bikini. I thought I was watching MLW. I was like, holy shit, this guy was bad.
We got you on Rich Bikini too. I mean, between the old Evolve crews and Chuy Martinez, and now the MLW crew with Rich Bikini, and now we're going to move on to Blake Howard. Our little extended family might be ring interviewer Poison Pills. Not that they don't deserve it.
But here's
Bring
the thing.
back Kelly Kincaid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please. Yeah, definitely. Here's one thing though. I like the message that he conveyed, but the wrong attitude or the wrong cadence or the wrong the wrong expression. There was really no emotion. You could tell this was done at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, probably after promo class. Hey, let's record this. We'll air it on television. We'll edit it and all that. It's just something. There was no real fire and passion. He didn't even say. That's why neither one. If I went through with the guy who's hot right now, you guys are not taking it. No way in hell you're gonna take this title. I worked too hard for it. He didn't even put no passion I would like to say that, you could have stole something from Ben Stiller. You gotta grip it out of my dead hands. Something along the lines. He's nothing. He didn't show no emotion for Tony. Maybe he got to get him back get some mortadella, or maybe got to give him some mortadella in the morning.
Yeah, it could very well be that. I understand. I'm with you. No argument. I don't want to fixate on it. I think we both said the same thing, and I think that we're right.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the next segment, which was
let's see what you got next.
I got Sarah Schreiber, looking cute and looking short, hanging out with Vanity Project in one of their favorite places, which was a bowling alley. Listen, I know
exactly where that bowling alley is too, by the way.
I have nothing against bowling alleys. I have nothing against bowling. It's just, I don't think Vanity Project is not an act that you think they hang out at the bowling alley. You think they hang out at the driving range. You think that they hang out at the gentleman's club where there's the billiards, not just pool, or outside a golf, near a golf course, a country club, something. Not a bowling alley. They're just the wrong guys for it. Like almost any other wrestler is fine for that. But this also felt a little bit scripted. But basically, the story was, we're really good friends. We've built up this relationship from the Indies to Evolve, ID program here to NXT. We don't even think that Miles and Tavion are real friends, even though they were in the no quarter catch crew for a while, and then they reunited. And I mean, they have as much history as anyone else. And then, and no one's going to mess with them with Michael Lockwood watching their back. And they're all talking about how great they are as they're bowling at their favorite place. And, none of them can bowl worth dick, which, I mean, I don't know if I found that charming or just silly. I was expecting, mostly Mr. Perfect, all strikes. Or at least when Michael Lockwood went out there, she did the 6-year-old kid who reaches between their legs and rolls the ball over two-handed under I don't even know the word. I can't think of it any longer. But I just expected her to do something in a camera cut, and not only did she knock down all 10 pins, but they went flying all over the place. They started knocking out pins in other frames too. The only funny part was when Brad Baylor was hitting on who I'm sure was an indie wrestler who was pretending to be the clerk in the back there. Didn't get a good look at her. I thought it might have been Giovanna Capri. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was chuckle, but it felt a little bit like Community. Again, contrived. It felt too contrived. I didn't feel like they were acting like real friends. I thought they were people acting like they were friends.
It just goes to the stereotype. It's Love Island, Bible studies, and bowling. It's perfect. It's the trifecta of NXT. And they go bowling and all that. And look, when you saw Brad Baylor hitting on the girl there, I said, man, this is Billy Gunn's legitimate bastard son somewhere in the Attitude Era, because this kid looks just like Billy Gunn. I'm sorry. He looks more like Billy Gunn than he's got to be. It's got to be a bastard son that he had him at one of these nights out there when he was hanging out in DX with the Road Dogg doing something. Who knows? Doing who? But no, I joke. That was just a filler for them to take down the cage. I know that because I've been there in that building so many times. So I knew we were going to get shitload of vignettes and long ones, because I know that they have to take down. They come like 12 people, little big a peek behind the curtain. They got like 12 or 13 around a bunch of ring crews. They come in and they take that cage down, and they're like NASCAR drivers, which we saw a bunch of them later on throughout the night. But they were like, going in for a pit stop to change the tires, and I knew there was going to be promo heavy with that. But it served its purpose. I knew why they did it, to serve that purpose.
I am still not clear why Vanity Project is getting the title shot, because didn't the stipulation fail?
No, Shiloh Hill didn't win.
Oh, okay. All right. I keep missing that. I keep blowing that one. All right, so fine. All right. Then we get someone who's really never been able to act and calls herself the Boat and the Low Key Legend. And her name is Natty. Maybe she can float. I don't.
Have you seen her upper body?
I have. Her upper body looks good. Her lower body looks good.
Floaty devices.
Her face doesn't look anything like it used to. I mean, it's weird. Like when the camera's on her straight on, it's just weird. But aside from that, it's. Natty comes to the ring. She's basically talking about how she came here because basically she thinks that Jada had lost herself, and now she found herself. And you're welcome, Jada. I brought you back. And then Jada comes out and basically agrees with her, more or less saying, "You did get me out of my funk, but baby." Now I remember exactly who I am, and boy, that was a mistake. You intended to remind me who I was, and you did remind me who I was, and now I'm angry at you, and now I demand a submission match at the Heatwave. What? And so I guess we're going to get the blow-off match. At least there was no Thea Hale. At least there was no, I mean, she, walked her in the back, and no Carmen and
she was touching grass.
touching right. Nikita was out there touching grass, and I guess Carmen was still wondering after they beat the hell out of Bronco Nima how he got promoted up to. By the way, a side note, I guess that explains why they kicked Bronco Nima out so abruptly and all that. So I'm sure I'm glad to see OTM still a team. I'm glad to see them up there. I like it when there's people that are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", with muscles on the main roster. I don't care how good the Motor City Machine Guns or Johnny Gargano are. Two big guys like that will always have a better chance than they will in the WWE. Just the way of the world. Anyway, I found this confrontation to be tired, old, and again, silly, because basically Jada agreed with everything that Natty told her, except she still wants to kick her ass. And Natty's like, okay, you can try.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I wasn't caring too much, or I was trying to look out. I was actually looking at friends, because the group that's straight ahead that were all over, standing up and going over for Parker. I'm friends with them. I'm friendly with them. Shout out to John and Cleveland and all of them that sit there. But I was seeing how they were responding, and I asked to myself after all that promo's done, are they? Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lippman. Are they wrestling Jada and Natty this Heatwave? Are they having a match Heatwave?
That Heatwave? That's what they said.
Okay, so because I said this, I came out of this saying I want to hear with my ears, and hopefully we, the response that Jada Park is going to get from that Edinburgh crowd in Texas, because she's over in the NXT Performance Center again, because we are that group, my friends, or some of the people that know, they know her outside of the wrestling, and they're going to cheer for a friend. So a wrestler that's been friendly, that hangs out, and she has a support system in NXT, the Performance Center. I want to hear if that translates to the main, not the main roster, but outside of the walls of NXT in Edinburgh. Because here's one thing that we are having a conversation about when we're watching NXT. A lot of these talents, we as fans are excited to see them, and we cheer for them, and we're at a good battle, and to just an encouragement. But then when they get to the main roster, they get crickets. Sometimes sometimes a good thing, and also could be a negative thing, because you really don't know how over they really are, the act is, because when they get to the main roster, people don't they don't feel their vibe, because and then sometimes it could stifle or frustrate a talent, because hey, I get all these, they love me in NXT, they go bananas, they go crazy, they hear me, and then when I get here, like an Ivy Now's used to get a lot of fanfare when she used to come out of the NXT Performance Center. Main roster, you don't get nothing, you get crickets. So yeah. That's what I was wondering. To me, I want to see how that's one of the first thing I want to see when they do wrestle on Sunday, if she's going to get that big monster response, because I think that's going to indicate if they're going to elevate her, because I'm not going to lie, she will fit perfect with OTM and Hobbs on the main roster. Jada Parker I'm speaking about, she will be a great female heel to be part of that group, antagonist, because the Bloodline don't have a female. She could tip the balance on that there, and it would be great. I'm not talking about the real life stuff that's happening with her, if she's dating or she's with Jey Uso. I don't care about it. I'm talking about WWE storyline wise. She will fit with the OTM Hobbs group. Will be perfect. But we'll see if they pull that trigger. I think Sunday's going to be a big testament. If they hear that the people around are cheering for her, that's something that could be in play.
Yeah, I think Jada has a natural charisma about her. I think she's got a natural attitude. I think even if people don't know who she is, she's physically attractive, and she's exactly the type for a lot of people who are wrestling fans. So even the few times she's been in the Royal Rumble, you heard people chanting Miss Parker, but you heard, corners of the arena they were excited for her. So I'm not really so worried about her. I like that idea of yours. The thing about Natty, and this is constructive criticism, if you want to get the best wrestling out of somebody, Natty is great for that. If you want to get the best promos and talking and mental dynamic, Natty's the wrong person for that. So, Jada actually becoming, I know they want people to be both a face and heel, but Jada's been a face before in NXT, not for a long time, but she has been. And she's certainly more of a natural heel, but she's okay as a badass face too. This finding myself and playing off Natty, who can't act worth shit, has actually retarded her not her mental acumen, but the mentality, the psychology, the speaking, the promo, that kind of charisma. She's back to community theater as opposed to just being her. She always had the talking down. The wrestling is what she had to learn how to do, and she did. And this to me has set her back. I know they think that Natty's the gatekeeper, and for wrestling, I totally agree that maybe she could be, but maybe someone like an Ivy Nile would have worked better. And Ivy Nile is a tactical wrestler as well, and she could certainly use a little bit more of a reminder that she still exists than say Natty does. In any event, it's neither here nor there because we're getting this match one more time.
Let me add one more thing to that caveat with Natty.
Yeah, of course.
It didn't work with the talking part to help elevate Jada to speak because she didn't need that. But you saw her elevate Maxine Dupree because they didn't do cut promos. There were a lot of physicality and a lot of sympathy through their physicality and their storytelling that they told. That's why it worked when she turned and all that. It just, that was the only thing that was a little bit of a disconnect with Natty and Jada Parker. And also Natty, she should cut promos like the way she talks on Busted Open on Thursdays. She talks, boy, she cuts good. I don't know if she's working or shooting when she comes on and she's with her co-host. She cuts all these promos about the wrestlers. Like, why don't you save that for Tuesday nights in front of the live crowd, not on WWE radio? Like, I don't know. I think she sees the red light on, and there's some type of trauma with Natty because it never translates on the big screen, the lights in the WWE big lights. Every other lights work, but for some reason these lights in the WWE cameras don't seem to work for her with the microphone.
That's weird. I don't listen to Busted Open, so I can't have any comment on that. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm clearly confused about this. But at this point, she's been in this game 20 years. So at this point, like, I'm more confused that people in WWE don't know this about her and don't try to get someone else to do the talking. Her being the badass silent type is fine, but doing a lot of the talking and being someone to play off, that doesn't really work. In any event, we'll see this match, and I expect that Jada, well, I guess we can save our predictions for the end. All right, our next match we're told is Cam Hendricks versus Keanu Carver. Cam Hendricks gets absolutely no entrance, so you already know what's happening there. Plus, when we see the flashback to earlier in the night where Keanu Carver approaches Robert Stone and he agrees to give Keanu that match against Cam Hendricks tonight, and we see Mason Rook lurking about. They basically spoil the ending as well there. So, yay. I like both these guys. I like Cam Hendricks a lot. I like Keanu Carver a lot. These are two big guys. They're two muscular guys. They're very different, but they're both from football backgrounds. Keanu actually played some professional ball. I think that people are rooting against Cam unfairly because one, he's already got Maxine Dupree, and people are going to say, "Oh, he's the Rock Light. They tried this with Maven and whatever." I get it, but shut up. For years they were trying to denigrate LA Knight, saying, "Oh, he's just trying to mimic Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock." Well, look at him now. If you're going to pay an homage or be imitation of someone, it might as well be like people who are Mount Rushmore candidates, and some of the most successful wrestlers of all time. So,
Yeah, it worked for Ric Flair. He took a Nature Boy Buddy Rogers and a little bit of Billy Graham, or even Dusty Rhodes borrowed a little bit from Buddy Graham and Hulk Hogan as well. So you could borrow from wrestlers, from other wrestlers prior generations before you. Yeah. If imitation is the best form of flattery.
Absolutely. I mean, is every cowboy wrestler, the same? I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. It's just silly. Anyway, I thought this was a good match. I think these guys worked pretty well together. It wasn't the cleanest of matches, but so what? In some ways, it looked like a fight. I was enjoying this match. Then Mason Rook came out to interfere. Now, the way they booked this was clever because Cam Hendricks was being a heel, even though he's a big guy and, he's not as powerful as Keanu Carver. And so he put a thumb to the Keanu's eye while Keanu was setting up for, what probably would have been an F5 or a Death Valley driver or something. Doesn't matter because it didn't happen. And Cam rolls out of the ring, and that's when Mason Rook sort of comes and interferes and, clobbers Cam Hendricks, rolls him back into the ring, and then Keanu hits him with the finisher and gets the win. So hey, Keanu gets the win. Cam is sort of protected. Mason Rook is someone I don't need on my TV, but fine. I mean, you know, I knew it was a little bit soon for W. You know, what was that guy? What was his name? Quincy Elliott or whatever. The people insisted was good for like 6 weeks, and then they got rid of him. So I don't think this is a Quincy Elliott situation where it's just where the guy stinks. I mean, he can move and things. He just looks silly to me.
Yeah, shout out to Keanu Carver, who wanted to open up the match with a quick small package immediately. I was like, oh, look at this guy going for a small package early about. I said this match I said two guys that really doesn't have maybe a year, 2 years experience in the business, wrestling and in front of TV, about a year, 2 years in television wise. Good match for these two guys. I guarantee they run this back 2 years from now or a year from now. That they're going to have a much better chemistry, much better match. They'll tell even better story. And I said, you know what, these two I could see them running it back some type of a PLE for something later down where all these other gentlemen get elevated. I wouldn't, you know what, they're right now, they're like they're the distant future of NXT for the men's division. I like the match. I'm not gonna critique it because I know their experience, but I like the Northern Light, the perfect plex with the tippy toe bridge from Keanu Carver. I was like, oh, it's not absolutely perfect, but it was a perfect plex.
Well, you pointed out he started out with a wrestling move and he finished it with a wrestling move, and yeah, I was going to call it a fisherman's suplex, but it really was the perfect plex. Then the bridge to add something to it. And I'm liking this Keanu, like he comes in as Dr. Jekyll, but he's barely holding Mr. Hyde back. You know, he's barely holding Mr. Hyde back.
He is Anakin Skywalker or Kylo Ren. You know, he's the red light. He's going to the dark side. You see the red, or is he blue? Or you know, so he has a conflict within himself.
Right, he's playing the game. He's figured out how to play politics, but he can barely do it. He doesn't.
Anger and hate leads to the dark side, and he is helping towing there.
Yeah, well, he's drawn within the lines, but it's costing him. It's taking a lot of effort to do it. Anyway, so I like this match just fine. And then we go to Kalani Jordan. I have no problem with anything she said. I thought her promo was perfectly good. It's just we heard it twice.
It's redundant. It's going to be redundant at the end of the night. You know, maybe they. You know what they should have They should have had Mason Rook set up the summit, bought some catering, bring some. You know.
Well, they don't trust him with catering. Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
And plus, I mean, maybe the whole summit was canceled because they were afraid all of the tables wouldn't catch Garganoism, and they were all going to plank. Maybe the chairs too. Some of those chairs were flopping around too. Maybe I didn't realize it was Garganoism until it was the table and actually resembled him. But maybe all those chairs falling down and the kendo sticks not working properly. All that. I mean, maybe Garganoism was running wild through this whole match.
It might have. You know what? I was thinking maybe Mason Rook and Quincy Elliott could have done they could have been smoking meats in the back of there down there.
You never know, but I mean, Gargano's been doing some work at LFG, so maybe he has infected the entire performance center, you know, and maybe inanimate objects and cheaply made furniture are the most susceptible to it. So yeah, this is something that should be looked into. Maybe they should get Nikita Lyons to go in and do a spiritual cleansing, some sort of like furniture exorcism or something. That might be necessary. Anyway. We then get a ZILLA promo, which was, listen, he's the only one that we didn't get two promos from, so okay, that's fine. And he, you know, the most important, you know, I like this promo. He made his own way. He's not a Nepo baby. He didn't rely on his bloodline or whatever. He carries his necklace with Umaga, his dad, you know, and all that. And yeah, wherever he goes, there's controversy, but that's the part of the ZILLA show. And he calls himself the main one, which is, you know, a clever play on the one's up, you know, the tribal chief with the one, but it's not exactly that. So it's just far enough. So I thought, you know, whatever. This was a wrestling promo.
All right. I heard it. I yawned. Next.
Fair enough. Not impressed, huh?
I mean, he's for FATU. We know you know your father. Well, I guess he has to let us know who he is. You know, let us know that who's his father. You know what? We damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because if he says, "Who is this guy?" Give the audience explanation. They explain it to the audience. He did his purpose. It served his purpose.
All right. Are you just grumpy because he sort of has, bumped Cruz Montana out of sort of like, the spotlight, or is there, or because of,
No,
you're much more involved with the indies and things like that, and probably know a lot more of Zilla's history on the indies and
No,
different
I
promotions.
kid. No. I'm always a person that it's only in America. We're in a country of dreams, and a second chances and opportunities. And Zilla's getting captivating that. I'm just being a heel because of Cruz Montana. That's
Okay. Listen, I wouldn't have asked if I didn't
I have
suspect
nothing
that was
wrong
part
against
of
the
it.
kid. I want the kid to go to the main roster. The kid is going to be he's the future of the WWE as well, as long as he doesn't get in trouble with the law outside, all the bullshit outside of the business, that could be label him and not blackball him or remove him from the WWE. But he's got a lot of bright future. But right now, I'm just playing the heel until Heatwave is over with ZILLA.
How old is he? Is he like 25, 26, or is he older
26
than
years
that?
old. 26.
26. Yeah, so
He's a great
kid, so-
talent. I'm not trying to. He's a great talent.
No, I'm just pointing like a lot of people always make an issue about how old a lot of the WWE champions are and whatnot. But if you just focus on that, I mean, first of all, it's convenient focusing, on even the main roster. But if you just focus on that and you don't pay attention to NXT and Evolve and the PC and to see what a pipeline they have of kids in their 20s or early 30s, but some in their 20s and some that are late teenagers as well in the pipeline. And a lot of these guys are like 6'4", 6'5". I mean, they have like a small army of these guys built like Braxton Cole and Shady Elhanas and Victor Dranoff or Drano, whatever his Evolve name is. But these are all big people. Harley Riggs. Anyway, going on and on. So we have ZARIA versus Kali Armstrong in what I'm just going to call an eliminator match. If Kali wins, she is inserted as a triple threat into the unification match for the Speed and North American Women's Championship. I think we pretty much figured that once she was inserted, in this match, she was going to win. It was going to be a triple threat. I don't know who it's there to protect her or whatever the case may be, but I don't care. I love me some Kali Armstrong. I like ZARIA. I thought this match was terrific, very hard hitting, very physical. So ZARIA was trying to apply the F5. Kali somehow reversed it, almost like a sunset flip, sort of, into a roll up reversal, and basically put all the weight on her strength and got the surprise win on ZARIA. Again, a wrestling move by a power player, but a power player facing someone who probably has more power than her. Not as fast, but more power. So I actually enjoyed this match. I mean, it was the result we expected, but I'm not mad about it. And yeah, so I think that again, I've been following Kali Tube Strong Armstrong from day one on Evolve, and I like what I've seen. I like Ren. I like ZARIA. I like all three of these ladies. So happy that she won, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they book this match. So for someone who complains a lot tonight, I have very little to complain about these last 2 or 3 segments.
No, this one here, if you say that's your match of the night, there is no debate. You can argue. You can say, hey, that's on you. I really enjoyed this match. The implications, the story they told. To me, what sold me on a match that I was like, wow, this was good, was ZARIA's facials after she got pinned. Yeah. Oh, and the camera, great job on the production to keep that right into her, and that look, and that even in her eyes, her pupils and everything. Like, what? I loved it. For ZARIA, great job there on selling that, where she was like,
and the facials with all the makeup and the contacts, it still comes through, and she's still believable as this badass heel who can't believe she lost, but you don't feel like she lost anything about it. You believe it might be a fluke because she believes it. That's authenticity. That's what we're not. That's in essence, most of my complaints about almost everything can be reduced down to one word: authenticity, or the lack of it. She's got it. Even in the wrestling where it doesn't have to be exactly like it, but count me as happy in this one. I agree with you 100% about it.
We hope, at least from this guy here.
I'm ready. I'm ready for. I think her ascension is a little bit too quick, but
they need to pump the brakes a little bit on her.
Yeah, but now that you've gone this fast, what else are you going to do with her? And so, and listen, I really like Kalani Jordan, and she's someone that you can put the belt on, and she can be there for another year while she polishes everything up. She's
to at least stand and deliver.
Right. She's a good worker, good personality, great to look at. I mean, she's been a face, she's been a heel, does it both well, so why not? Like they said, NXT doesn't reload, it just rearms, or whatever the phrase was. All right, so of course it's WWE and CW, so we're going to get some silly cross promotion. So we get the first NASCAR driver, which, I mean, you could have every NASCAR driver there. I'd have no idea who any of them were. You didn't know either. It's fine. So he's unnamed NASCAR driver or named NASCAR driver who I don't care about was talking with Kendall and Ren, and whatever, a little bit more community theater. But the bottom line is that Kendall, she is cleared to compete. Of course, she's competed before even without being cleared, but she's cleared to compete. However, she's still at risk for severe damage, permanent damage to her ear. Ren's not worried. The driver's not worried. They're all going to win. He's going to win his race. She's going to unify the speed and North American title, and it's going to be the RenQ CC Championship celebration. I don't know where the NASCAR guy is going to figure into this. It doesn't matter. Apparently there was a second NASCAR driver later on. I thought it was the same guy. I have no idea. But yeah, okay. So listen, if Ren needs to be protected, we know why she's being protected.
I was going to say this, that he could maybe that NASCAR driver, he may be legal to drive, but I don't think he's legal to drink. That boy, he looked like he just came out of freaking he was high school to drive that car. I mean,
well, good. He shouldn't drink and drive.
No.
Right. I'm not sure Kendall is legal to drink either. So they should all stay on the kids. Stay away from alcohol. It's bad for you. Leave it for me. It's good for me. It's bad for you. But yeah. So Kendall has a target on her, which is literally her ear, where she literally still has a white bandage on, and so that target will remain. And obviously, Kalani attacking that is going to be part of it. And Kalani sort of also.
He did the steps hard. It's not like she hit the steps hard and she's banded up. It's not like she got a bullet graze her ear.
Yeah, and she's hit those steps with her ear since then as well. So it's not like she's given it a whole lot of time to heal. And Kalani, sort of stealing from her fiance, husband, whatever Carmelo Hayes is, basically a play off the, when I swing I don't miss, or whatever his expression is, and hers is, it's going to be one shot Kalani, huh?
Mello don't miss.
Mello don't miss, right? Yeah, I'm still stuck on Mella is money. I'm more of a Carmella the guy than a Carmelo guy, but what can I tell you?
I don't blame you. I'd rather watch Carmella anyway.
Oh my God, that dance and that silhouette thing, my goodness, that was just super fantastic. How do you release that woman? Especially after all she's gone through. Anyway, moving on, we got where if I wasn't doing a podcast, this would be my piss, snap, see what the elections are doing break. Birthright in an 8-man tag match. Nothing against the other 4 guys. I have no interest in Birthright. By the way, if you're keeping track, Ariana Grace has been re-demoted back to Dixie Carter. She was not wearing anything even remotely sexy at all. Yuck, bad, terrible. In case you want to know who they were fighting, I had Legacy DVD, but apparently it's DVD Legacy. I prefer my version, but that's Dorian Van Dux, Sean Legacy, along with Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno, who come out to the Metaphor music, even though there's only 2 of them, the Meta 2. So obviously that's not going to last. Despite all of my talk, whatever, this match wasn't bad. It was entertaining. I'm just not invested in Birthright at all. But plenty of action, plenty of high flying action. I think that the Noam Dar side, they work pretty well together for four guys who probably haven't done a whole lot of work together, especially in 8-mans, especially in the PC WWE style. So I thought this was good. They did that. Dorian Van Dux did the catapult on Legacy, which was the vertical one, which is pretty cool. So the match was fun. I mean, this was. They all took their turns, but I think it was mostly the Dorian Van Dux Romeo Moreno show. It seemed like Uriah Connors on the other side sort of held the match together. I still think that there's something wrong with Lexus King, that it's a minor injury that they're trying to hide. Not only does he not wrestle all that much, but he's also gotten like really thin. I'm not sure. Anyway, at the end of the match, it looked like the good guys were going to win. They were killing everyone outside. Romeo Moreno did his great splash. You had Dorian Van Dux do his frog splash into Sean Legacy's 450 off the top rope, but not the turnbuckle, sort of off center to a bit, which is great. Great finisher. Didn't happen. Charlie Dempsey interrupted the whole thing and takes Noam Dar and kills him absolutely with one move into some sort of, not a Scioto suplex, but almost like a Scioto suplex muscle buster combination. It was a great move, and because Noam Dar is 3 feet tall and 76 pounds, Charlie Dempsey was able to wrap him up and get the 3 count. So the weak link, Noam Dar.
Wow. And Charlie Dempsey got the pin on TV. He's like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
He got the golden ticket.
You know what happened? He stopped wearing the Fred Perry and things start going well for him.
Yeah, Willy Wonka scores one.
Yeah, there you go. It's all good. It just needs a top hat.
Yeah, but it was a fun match, though. It was fun. It was fun. It was quick. It was fun. Like you said, it was a spot. It was a spot fest. It was a spot fest to get everyone going to set the table for what was coming next. Maybe they would have placed it different, because especially when you were at the match that preceded this, I was like, you're going to get high flying. You're going to get great stuff. I say maybe they could have done that in the, but then it was a weird night, because if you would have put that match, would you substitute for Cam Hendricks and Keanu Carver match there? But it is what it is. It was a fun match. Let's not Let's not get crazy. Birthright needed a victory. Man, they got it.
I mean, we might be seeing the start of a turn of Romeo against Noam, or DVD Legacy turning a little heelish. I'm not sure where this is going. That's good. You're not supposed to know where things are going, and
Right.
Birthright, despite being uninspired, if you're going to be a faction with all that, getting wins is fine, and it's sort of an unimportant.
And for
But the one
Adriana
Go ahead.
Grace, she shouldn't have wear that tube top. I was like, ooh, wardrobe malfunction's coming.
No two thumbs. Though when I see a spot fest like this, and I wonder, is Tate Wilder hurt again?
He must be.
Okay, we should reach out to Alex at the PUWF. They usually know all that stuff, because if Tate Wilder is hurt again, I think that's got to be it for him.
Yeah, I don't see a future in him anyway. I know you guys like him. I don't see a future past NXT. Nah,
I like him just fine. I don't love him, but I like everyone at this stage of their career, or for the most part.
I understand.
But they have a whole bunch of guys like him. I mean, there's only so many of them that you need. I mean, even AEW, who's got 70 guys that are like that, they're not showcased, because there's no time for all of that. It's just there's more wrestlers than there are wrestling spots, at least for TV wrestling. All right, we have a segment, backstage with Stone, a little bit with Keanu. Again, we sort of covered it. There was really nothing new there. But Shiloh Hill came back, and this is the Shiloh I like, because Shiloh was explaining, Robert Stone goes, wow, is your vision back? You want a match next week? Since you didn't get the North American title, you want Morocco next week? Yeah, he's like, yeah, my eyes are actually healing a lot better than Tony's, and he proceeds to give like a scientific explanation or hypothesis as to why the mist that was used on him was made of cadmium and magnesium, whereas the one against Tony was something else, so it dissipated more quickly, with the prop chemical antidotes or whatever, and Robert Stone's like, yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And then this was good. This is where I like Shiloh, and I actually like Stone here too. He started out too robotic, but he sort of worked. He worked with it. So this too, yeah, it's wrestle crap comedy, but I like it.
I said shout out to Dawn. It really cleans everything, even the red mist.
Well, that's what you use to save animals when they've been attacked by vicious petroleum spills.
Dawn will clean anything, even red mist. They should put that on the canvas. They should get a Dawn sponsorship for WWE.
Absolutely. Or whoever sells raccoon mist, that they should be a sponsor as well.
That didn't work so well because he's back already to wrestle. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Narako actually used raccoon mist against.
No, it was a red mist. He said red mist tonight.
Yeah,
different red mist.
Yeah, I agree entirely. Definitely not. So we don't know if raccoon mist is actually effective or not.
No. That's why
they
got to go to Publix for the red dye, not to Bravo Supermarket.
Well, hopefully Shiloh will bring out the red mist, the raccoon mist next week to counter the red mist. That's what I would like to say. It'd be like one of those like airbender things where somebody shoots the fire, but somebody shoots the water, and the fire just turns to smoke. It just missed out. That's what I want to see. Maybe we need to get Anya Rune on there to add to the magical mix of that. Okay, our next match is EK Prosper challenging Rey Fénix for the AAA Cruiserweight Championship. The story presented is that Rey Fénix has been everywhere, working everywhere. He's going to face his brother Penta in the tournament. He just defended his cruiserweight title. He's a cross brand, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, AAA, you name it, he's been there. Is he working himself out of his title? Is this going to catch up to him or not? EK Prosper, another guy that they are strapping the rocket to. He was on ID, then Evolve, then NXT, barely, smoked a cigarette in LFG, though that season seems to be never ending, so who knows, maybe he'll be back on there again, don't know. I'm 3 episodes behind on it. But this was a fabulous match. So I would say ZARIA Kali Armstrong was the NXT match of the night, but this was the match of the night on NXT. Because this was on an NXT match. This could have been on any show anywhere on Earth. And people have to know I mean that if they know about me and that I'm a sizist. Rey Fénix is a little guy. EK Prosper is a skinny guy. I am not inclined to be interested in what they do, but one, I have to catch up with the times or at least adjust with them. But this was spectacular. I don't know that they've ever worked together before, but they had insane chemistry. They worked together beautifully. Lot of close calls, false finishes, but not in an obnoxious way. Actually, EK Prosper was on offense. It was probably a 70-30 match. So they told that story well. Fénix had both of his arms. They both had latex or polyprene, whatever those armbands are. If you have a bad elbow, a bad arm, like basically what Matt Cardona was showing with his busted tricep. 2 different colors, so I don't think that's normally part of his gear. So I think he's trying to sell that both of his arms are not 100%. They probably aren't. Rey Fénix has a historic injury history. I love how Booker keeps calling him this kid Fénix. Fénix is Penta's brother. Penta's like 40, 41. Fénix, I don't know if he's the younger brother or the older brother, but I don't think there's that many years. He's not a kid. He's maybe a kid next to Booker, who's probably, close to 60. But, I think Fénix is at least 36, 37. I don't think he's I don't think it's the difference between the oldest Uso and then Solo.
Right. When this match happened, and during the course of the match, I said, and the way that match was, match of the night, the crowd was hot. The crowd loved it. The crowd was energetic. The crowd was going bananas in all the moves. They were on that roller coaster ride. I said, man, they could have easily put that on Ola de Calor for Sunday. That That would have been a great opportunity for EK Prosper. It didn't have to be for the Heatwave for NXT. They could have, but I understand they wanted to give a bone to the television on CW on Tuesday night, so people could want to watch the brands on Sunday. So I think for a go home, that's the one match that makes you want to watch, because if we're gonna get that type of wrestling from either the NXT brand or the AAA brand, and you're gonna want to watch it. And shout out to the Performance Center. We give them a little bit of slack sometimes. I gotta give them a lot of love and credit. They were chanting AAA as well. So that was a nice. You heard it loud, and they were loud and proud, and they were chanting AAA, and that was good for all around for people to tune in and want to watch it. And great job. That was all in all that was the best of the best tonight of the whole entire show. That was it.
Absolutely. No, I think it was it was fabulous. I don't know how many ways to say it, and I think that they should run this back at some point in AAA. If they want to rush EK Prosper to someplace bigger, put them in AAA. I'd love to see that again. And I don't know that Rey Fénix is the star that people want him to be, but certainly he's going to attract more eyes from a WWE NXT audience to AAA than, say, La Parka is, La Parka's fun in AAA, but you see him once in WWE, you're probably all set for the next half decade.
Yeah, that's the way I feel that's the way I feel. I know he's fun. He's really fun when he shows up, like Mr. Iguana. Like he's like the Danhausen of AAA. You could see him occasionally. You could do that. I don't want to see him every week.
Right. I exactly. I feel the same way.
Because he's gonna do the same thing all the time with the puppet, with the iguana, the plush toy. He's gonna do all the little tricks. It's good occasionally. Don't need them all the time.
Yeah. It's the same problem I've thought with Orange Cassidy, which is going on year 6.5 now. But I felt the same way about Santino with the Cobra. I thought that was stupid. I thought the Sacco with Mankind was stupid. So I go back all these years like I can accept a lot of doofiness in wrestling. Just some of it just plain old dumb.
Yeah, but with Orange Cassidy, that's called an addiction. Pocket pool is an addiction.
Yeah, but the use of him by the promotion doesn't have to be.
They're addicted to it too. People get addicted to pocket pool. So is the promoter.
I guess so.
They want happy endings.
Well, we went to this giant pool of awesome charisma with Miles Bourne, a double champion, the most forgettable double champion perhaps of all time, Tavion Heights, with another NASCAR guy, and they're doing strategery. Tavion Heights is going to do all the heavy lifting because he wants Miles Bourne to be fresh for his match, and Miles Bourne is relaxed, chill dude. We got this, one match at a time.
Yeah, we got this, Tavion.
That's right. And the locker room starts to fill up with, the face tag teams. We get the 4 that just lost to Birthright. Hank and Tank come in. Apparently they've been gone. Apparently they've been in Hollywood. They've been doing public speaking. They've been doing a little bit of this, a little CW promotion. Okay, but now, hey, how about we get a tag team shot? And Tavion Heights goes, I've been listening to my man Miles here. We're doing one thing at a time. So first we retain the titles, and then we'll see you around. So, Tavion, the whole, I don't know what I'm going to do if we lose these titles. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, because, I don't want to see Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, fight again. I don't care. I feel like it's just like Saquon and Dion and Natty and Jada, part tres, part trois. But I mean, that's obviously where they're going with all of this stuff. But maybe it won't be. Maybe they'll surprise me. I just can't see how they don't have Vanity Project with Michael Lockwood and all that. Do their thing. In any event, I don't mind the harder edge by Tavion Heights, and the faces that Hank and Tank made. They were they're disappointed, but they understood. They know the score. So segment largely harmless, but I have to be honest, I forgot again that Miles Bourne was the North American champion.
Oh man, well, shout out to Hank and Tank. They were in a competitive eating.
Is that right? How'd they do?
Look at them. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, listen, Joey, what was his name? Joey Chestnuts. He was a little guy, and he was always winning those things. Um, but yeah, the Belly Boys were being very loud. Uh, Anyway, we're told that the Heatwave Summit is coming up. But before we get to the summit, we see Kendall and Ren talking, and basically we get a Kendall promo, and I'm typing, where's the summit? That's not what a summit is. A summit is when everyone's in the same room at the same time, usually around conference tables, or someone has a gavel, whatever the case might be. We've all seen pictures of the Illuminati, any board of directors.
Catering.
Yeah,
There was no catering, no donuts, nothing.
nothing,
What is
nothing.
that? Not even a glass of water.
I mean,
Pitcher of
plenty
water.
of security on one side of the building anyway. Only
right.
dudes. By the way, why are there no why do no younger female wrestlers have to be security? Like, don't they? If there's women in the summit, then they may brawl. Shouldn't there also be women's security as well?
Oh, shout out to the male security guard. He could cop a feel.
Well, that's a sexual assault, and that's not consent. That's bad. So no
keep
shout
it
out
power.
to them for copping feels, but I believe it's sexist that there's not female
Right,
security too.
especially in a world that we're equal opportunity. We want equal
Exactly.
rights.
Listen,
Yes.
if the men's security are getting in between female competitors, if the female referees can get between the male competitors, why not female security as well? So, I don't know. I just, I'm a progressive person. I just need to understand these things.
Don't you find it funny that you saw Robert Stone tell the referee, the beautiful blonde young referee, yeah, make sure you get all the security out there. Like, Robert Stone, you're really gonna tell with 8 different people out there or more, you're gonna have that poor young lady referee who's like 115 pounds soaking
that.
wet, if that. Yeah, I'm like, come on, Stone, come on, be for real.
Yeah, 115 pounds holding the 10-pound weight,
Yeah.
and a to-go bag while soaking wet. But I mean,
The
but
sneakers
basically,
are like 2-3 pounds.
yeah, but basically, Vicky D'Erico can
Mm-hmm.
she can't do any wrong by me. So I mean,
Oh
she's
no,
just,
no.
the fact that that woman wants to be in pro wrestling and as a ref. I mean, I know she also does like other kinds of contests
Bodybuilding.
as well, bodybuilding. But yeah, I mean, just fantastic. Anyway, I guess we're getting sort of off subject. But Kendall, it's easy to because Kendall basically cuts the same promo as before. Ren says the same thing as before. Kalani comes out next, one at a time, says the same thing. Then Zaria comes out and says the same thing she said before. Kali came out again, one at a time. At least she didn't say exactly the same thing. She did have one line saying, "I beat both of you two delusional heifers back to back." So I don't know. Are you allowed to call people heifers? Is that is that something?
I guess so. Yeah, she's been using that for a while, so she's been using the word heifer.
Okay.
Yeah, and so Naomi does too. That Naomi used to use that. I'm gonna beat your heifers. Yeah.
Wow, isn't that like calling someone a cow?
I know they've been using it when it gets to the point.
I don't know. I thought that word was on the off list, but okay, whatever. If it's on the on list, that's all right. I can go with the flow. And then Grayson Waller came to join all the other ladies.
And he had the line of the night. Oh, I loved it.
Well, he has his Nepo Ooh sweatshirt and his skinny jeans, and he stinks. But because you like him, why don't you deliver his line of the night?
Oh, he said something. I paraphrase. You ladies, you guys are wonderful, beautiful to look at, but less talking. That's why I'm out here. Oh,
But he also said, "There's the 10% of the locker room I was talking about,
Yes,
all in
yes,
one place."
yeah.
So
All
he's
in one
complimenting them too. But
Oof,
folks
yeah.
out there, are you starting to agree with me? Are you starting to realize it's still just Grayson Waller, and he ain't interesting? He's just a smug douche. Not even the kind that you want to see get beat up on TV. You just want to see him go away. Future endeavored, and that future might be Labor Day.
That might be your NXT World Champion. As much as I hate to say it.
There's a reasonable chance at that, but I will tell you this: I'm hoping against it. I wouldn't necessarily pick against it, but you'll find out in about 10 minutes, I suppose. Tony D comes out. Yeah, he's angry. Cruz Montana comes out. He's walking through the crowd, and he likes the chaos. But he's not here to talk. He's here to throw hands, and so that's when the brawl happens. And security is outnumbered, and we had a little bit of a brawl. And during the brawl, the women faces Rendell, clear the ring, raise their arms, and ZILLA FATU comes in, and he clears the ring of the dudes, and he grabs the NXT title belt, goes up to the turnbuckle, and he's raising the belt along with actual champions retaining their belts and raising the belt, and that's how the show goes off the air.
No problem, Hoss. No problem, Hoss. Hoss had a little bit of internet issues. You want to check in on Hoss Knucklebrew.
I knew I was missing something.
When I saw Zilla raise the title, I was like, yes. Usually when the challenger raises the title, never wins the title. So I was like, and he went over. I was like, yes, that's my closing shot. Go have it, buddy boy. Raise it all you want now, as long as you're not raising it on Sunday.
Right. All right. Shall we do predictions?
Let's go.
All right. I'm going to guess no particular order. I'll pick one match and you pick the next. I'm going to go with Jada versus Natty submission match.
I don't have the list in front of me, so I'll just if you have the list in front, throw them out there and I'll give you my prediction.
I have the list, but I'm saying Jada wins.
Yeah, Jada beats Natty. Jada's going to be Natty, and they'll finally go off, and then, Natty is going to give her that sign of respect. And then Jada, that might be her last match in NXT.
I think there's a very good chance of that. Vanity Project against Born and Heights. I do think that Born and Heights are going to lose their belts, and Tavion's going to flip his lid, whether he does before they lose it, or whether after they lose it, or next week, or whatever. But I think Vanity Project, it's going to be V's up once again.
I think they win the tag team titles as well. Pains me to say it. I think they beat. Yeah, because I think it's going to lead to more story.
Yeah. I also think that Miles Bourne loses to Heartbreak Drake. V's up all night. It's going to be a good night for the Vanity Project. Little help from Michael Lockwood, rather. Maybe not much help from Tavion Heights. Don't know. But and certainly no help from that NASCAR driver. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good night for the Vanity Project.
I kind of want to say Miles retains because I think that's what's going to cause the jealousy. While you were too busy worrying about your North American, we lost our titles. I got no gold again.
I like that.
I think that's what's going to. I think I'm going to go with Miles. I'm going to be different. I'm going to go with Miles because I would like to see Vanity win all three, similar to what Fatal Influence is doing on the main roster in SmackDown. But I'm going to be different. I'm going to say that I'm going to stick with my first one.
It's a good story, and stories is really what it's all about.
Yeah. Either way, I wouldn't be opposed if he retains, or even if Jackson Drake does win the North American. As much as I don't really like Vanity too much, but if for storyline purposes, I'm open-minded whichever route they go.
I will just say this: that if you're correct, that Tavion is a bit of a doofus, because Miles Bourne was already the North American champion when you talked him into re-tagging with you for those titles. So, I mean, you really can't complain if he, at least considers the titles to be equal, if not, prioritizing the singles title, which he had longer. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, or is it? We have ZARIA, Ren Sinclair, and Kali Armstrong in a triple threat for the unification of the Speed and the North American Women's title, hopefully the end of the Speed title. Ren's eating this pin. I do think that ZARIA does retain, but Kali feels like she gets robbed from it. There's no real reason ZARIA shouldn't be on the main roster, except that there's no room on the main roster. At least the way they use their cast members on the main roster. So they like to keep it thin. I can't believe there's still people out there saying that the main roster is bloated. It is not. There's almost no low card, mid card left. So.
Well, I mean, there's Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone's complaining that she loses, and then but with WWE, you tend to take turns. I mean, there's reasons for all these things. But in any event, I'm going to go with ZARIA retaining, and hopefully we never hear the phrase "speed title" again on the women's side. I don't know what they're going to do on the men's side. My preference is across all brands WWE Cruiserweight title.
I kind of want to.
I like your TV title idea also.
By the way, I like the fact that you would talk. I heard from ZARIA I believe she was interviewed by Bully Ray, and ZARIA, for her mission was when she first came to the United States from Australia, she wasn't in great cardio shape, and it took her. That's why it took her so long to get where she's at. Getting pushed and getting up elevated. Also, when she said the American fast food or the American food here, really she loves it, delicious, but it was harmful for her. It made her gain extra weight. She wasn't in a great ring shape. Now she's getting in shape. She's been in shape. Her cardio is much more. Her matches are going to be longer. I think they're prepping her. That's why she's not in the main roster yet. For her own admission, she blames nothing but herself, what I found a lot of admirable. And I said, oh, now I can understand, because she looked much more intimidating, much more monstrous than Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca's in the main roster. But my point here, I think the storyline is that ZARIA wants to get that speed title, get those 2 titles, because she wants to abolish everything that she had with Sol Ruca, and I think she's going to win that. Or I think she wins it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a double pin, or 2 shoulders down, or that kind of like, and the title still stay split. One gets one thing, one gets the other, and I hope not. I hope they don't do something funky or goofy. If they get rid of the speed title, so be it. It was, you know what? It didn't bother me if the speed title would have stayed going, but I get it. People don't like it. It is what it is. I think ZARIA wins, to make a long story short.
Well, I mean, if we remember the inception of it, it was X exclusive,
Yes.
and that seemed to be a 1-year contract with some other revenue. I assume that X didn't renew it because it wasn't doing anything for them, or WWE felt that they could put it on their shows and the money wasn't worth it, whatever the case was. And having Chad Gable as the champion, and that's his first singles title, they got some blowback for that, as opposed to people being, he finally got a singles title. They're like, this is the stupidest title ever.
Yeah. Everybody that won that, they got blowback. Andrade, Ricochet, all the people that had that title.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it was a garbage belt. I mean, was it as stupid as a 24/7 title? No. But was it close? Yeah. I mean, in bottom 5 titles of all time, those 2 have to be considered as contenders in that bottom 5.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not even talking about just redundant titles and whatever, because you can argue all day about those, but just stupid, pointless titles. These were stupid, pointless titles. All right. Next match, I guess, would be Rendell versus Kalani. Not Rendell, Kendall Gray versus Kalani. I have to separate them because they're in separate matches now. I'm all with Kalani. I think that year something happens. Kalani plays dirty. Maybe there's a ref distraction, or ref bump, and she clobbers her ear on an exposed turnbuckle or something. Whatever. Maybe the steps come back into play. Maybe all of the above. But by hook or by crook, Kalani Jordan is going to win that title, and I don't know if that makes her a Grand Slam champion if there are no tag team champions, but she's like a 2-time North American Women's Champion, be the NXT champion, and the TNA World's Champion. I think that should count as some sort of a Grand Slam.
Yeah, that's a unique singles gold. So I could see that. I could see the bottom line. I could see where Ren is going to be on her side on Kendall. There's going to be a spot where she's really concerned of Kendall. She's going to try to sell the ear with the equilibrium. The referee's going to be concerned, and Ren's going to get on the apron to try to get the refs. Hey, I think she's hurt, and the ref turns it back, and Kalani hits her with the back fist right in the ear, and I think Kalani wins. I think it's Kalani time.
I like that. I wasn't even thinking that Ren's going to be out for this, but yeah, that makes a bit of sense.
And it's not Ren turning on her. It's just Ren concerned as an over-concerned friend trying to get the referee's attention, and the referee sees, her friend concerned. Like, hey, get down from the apron, but she's hurting, and then she gets hit with that. And I think that's how she wins. Yeah.
I like the way I like your vision. As long as she doesn't throw in the towel. I hate throwing in the towel thing. Yeah. Already done a couple months ago, even though it was by trickery. Yeah. Then we've got our men's fatal four-way for Tony D'Angelo's NXT Championship. Obviously, we've got Cruz Montana in there, your favorite. Grayson Waller, your second favorite, my least favorite, and ZILLA FATU, the spotlight stealer. I know one thing for sure. Well, I don't know anything for sure, but I suspect one thing seriously, and that is that there's no way Tony D is retaining this title.
He has no chance.
They're going to put him on the main roster just because he's worked so hard and earned it. What he's going to do there, I don't know. If I was to put him somewhere, I'd probably have Ethan Page manage him and Rusev as a tag team and try and because they sort of are built the same. That could be interesting. I might also have Ethan Page hire Cass as their they're all going after Javon, but ultimately going for the tag team title.
The Kaz and Enzo.
Yeah, and well, I don't know if you need Enzo or not, but
that's a Goomba, right? That's a Goomba party right there.
They can go for the IC title. Maybe it brings the Creed brothers back. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But anyway, we're not fantasy booking that. I'm obviously trying to avoid making a pick here. I really fear that you are correct, that it's Grayson Waller. It's not going to be Cruz Montana. I think they want him to chase a little bit. And a little bit might mean 6 to 9 months. Or maybe even until WrestleMania, deadline.
I think he wins the title, either that or Halloween Havoc. Because reports have that, and ZILLA FATU, I don't see ZILLA's winning. Reports have that ZILLA's is going to be for a couple, and he'll be in that War Games. He's not going, and he'll be getting called up. He's here for a little bit, for a quick stint, and then he goes to the main roster. With Cruz, I could see him winning it in a Halloween Havoc. That's why, as much as I will mark out, I'll be, our review show, I'll be on cloud 9, but I got Grayson Waller winning the NXT men's title. I think they're going to, because you want the heel where you want the heat, and want a way of getting your baby face, and Cruz, for everybody chase and want him to beat Grayson Waller. I think that's the way you go. That's the way you book. Because ZILLA's not going to go far. He's not going to go far. He's not going to stay long. He's going to go. It looks like, they showed the vignette of him on Monday Night Raw. So they're already telling so they're kind of putting the seed that he's not going to be too long in NXT. So I think Cruz wins later on, and later on, and I think Grayson Waller wins because that's the heel that you want. Tony will get his rematch maybe, or ZILLA gets in and by hook or crook, and then ZILLA goes to the main roster.
I want to be very clear about this because people are going to think that I'm having my cake and eating it too. I think that you're right, but I'm still picking ZILLA FATU. So that is my official pick. So I don't get to claim that I was right either way. I'm picking ZILLA FATU, and I'm picking for the exact reasons you said, is that he's going to be on the main roster. He's going to be in War Games. That will protect him from losing the NXT title down the line. Basically the same story they were trying to tell with Rey Fénix. And I think that they're going to, the way they use NXT and the main roster to try to promote AAA, I think they're going to start using the main roster a little bit to promote NXT again. I think that they really enjoy beating AEW. I don't think that they like it that it's gotten closer, and that, there was 2 years where it was basically a sweep, basically, 100 out of 104 weeks. Now it's, a little bit more 50-50. It's not so confident anymore. It's not, it's not looking like Triple H was so visionary when he said it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I think having ZILLA, do that and reminding me, whoa, that's where we could have seen ZILLA, and ZILLA's the NXT champion. I mean, they've had NXT champions on the main roster before. Kevin Owens comes to mind. So I think for a little bit doing that and getting a little bit of bloodline spillover without it having to be completely bloodline, but you could still, have Solo doing some recruiting. You could have Royce Keys and OTM, who are familiar, doing a little recruiting. They might be family, but they're not street family. We were your street family, or I was your street family. You can have Jacob in there. So there's a whole. I don't think they're going to put Roman there, but if you told me they were going to put Roman on a AAA, special event, I would have called you a dirty, stinking, lying scoundrel. And they're putting Roman on, involving him in AAA. So, it's so. Those are my reasons. I don't really believe them fully, but I'm still going with it. ZILLA FATU, you're in it. The main one is the NXT champion. Yes, that's my pick.
All right.
Final answer.
Final answers. Yeah, I got Waller. You got so again. It doesn't mean that I will not celebrate seeing Cruz win it. But like you said, I think we want to get Cruz that opportunity to have that chase and have the people really behind him. Like, come on, yeah, we want to get behind him because they haven't even, if I would have been like maybe Cruz wins because they didn't even make merch. They already got a ZILLA FATU t-shirt, and they had already a t-shirt. They didn't even get on Monday Night Raw, and they're really giving him, they really jumping the line where you just brought Cruz in. Cruz was a TNA World Champion, and you're pushing, you're kind of leapfrogging ZILLA, who really didn't win any House of Glory. So was Cruz Montana was a House of Glory champion too.
How many Nepo Oos sweatshirts have you ordered?
I have not ordered any.
Really?
I've got one family I got the Rock family first from that's it. That's all. Two.
Oh, I figured you would order Nepo Oos hoodies for all of us.
No, I want one though. I want one because I gotta get. It's just my finances are. I'm suffering with a real bad disease called no funses.
Yeah, me too, and it's also I have two diseases. The other one is called irresponsible spendingitis. So,
no, I got low funses. If I have funses, I'm very generous. I'm very, I like to plant seeds and fertile returns, but when you don't have no seeds to plant.
Well, if you've got 15 minutes, I can tell you about a life-changing opportunity.
There you go. Look at that. The Sports Jedi Network on the Garden of Thoughts. We'll change something else.
Yeah, we'll do all sorts of multi-level marketing. Sure.
Yeah, all that stuff.
You know what could change your life? If a lot of people ordered Dude Wipes using your promo code.
Promo code and Blackout Coffee as well. Blackout Coffee. Use my promo code Sports Jedi 20 and save. Blackout Coffee is American-made coffee here in the state of Florida. They ship everywhere, anywhere. I always recommend the Morning Reaper. It gets you going, medium roast, or you have the 1776 darker roast, all that good stuff. Check it out. They just don't have coffee. They have all different other products there for Blackout Coffee. You get a mug, all that good stuff. But use the promo code Sports Jedi 20 and save 20% off. Yeah, I got to get an order. I haven't ordered because I have, again, that disease of low funds.
Yeah, I mean, well, that 20% off, then you get a commission on top. So that's like even a bigger discount. So yeah, it's just smart.
And it comes quick. It comes quickly. I mean, maybe because I'm in the same state, but it's a quick. I'm like, damn, that was fast. Yeah.
No, they're caffeinated. Everything's quick. And when you drink the coffee, you're going to need the Dude Wipes.
That's right. Right, so, and yeah,
they're complimentary.
Even though he's not a sponsor of us, Jeff, I would say double up on Dude Wipes if you would order that Prince Nana coffee. That will, but you could use that. If you want to save on GLP-S injections, get the Prince Nana coffee. It makes you really go.
I don't know. There's so many coffees. Like, I mean, if you want to do like a wrestling coffee taste test, Becky and Seth have their coffee shop. Ruby Soho and whatever his name is, they've got their coffee and game shop. Richard Holliday's got his coffee.
Becky
Baron Corbin.
Yes, he's got a coffee shop in Florida. But Becky and Seps, I heard, gives hemorrhoids because when you go, it burns it down. It makes you burn it down.
Well, that makes sense with Seth, but I mean, maybe that's a show. Maybe we should do, well, we have a sponsor, so it's probably not a good idea, but maybe there's someone out there should do a wrestling coffee brands taste test.
I don't know. We could do that. It doesn't have to be affiliated with Blackout Coffee. We could do that.
Just the wrestlers themselves. Yeah, leave Blackout out of it. Of course, whatever it is, Blackout's more delicious than any of them.
Yeah, of course. It's pro America. I love it, even though I drink Bustelo.
Right, and Becky's from Ireland, and Seth is from Mars. So
Look at that.
Yeah, Seth is from Uranus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what we got left here? What we got left going on? Tell us where we can find you, man.
I mean, the rest of this is where Hoss was supposed to pick us up, but no. Where you can find me on the X, you can find me at Dose_Evil or at Icarus Fell MD. You can certainly find me on Garden of Thought, but you can find Garden of Thought right here as well. You don't even have to go to Garden of Thought, but don't think I don't appreciate it if you subscribe to the audio on any major platform and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Garden of Thought Pod. Don't really know why I need it any longer, but I paid a lot for it, so for someone to set it up for me. I'm here on Monday nights for the MLW files. I'm here generally Sunday afternoons for Garden of Thought. Oftentimes here, of course, Tuesdays for the Padawan Awakens, as you know right now. Oftentimes there's a Garden of Thought midweek on Wednesdays. Sometimes there's an Out of Character podcast as well, which sometimes is on Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays, sometimes not at all. But you can also find me on the Wrestling Soup Network for the LFG review show, which I do with the legendary Lufisto. We recorded episodes 15 and 16 over the weekend together as one show, but we both watched episode 17, so we should be catching back up. We did it accidentally on purpose so that we're not competing with Heatwave and All In and Triple I and all that, and let everyone do their review shows about that, and then we'll catch back up with LFG when there's a little bit of lull in the wrestling. But yeah, those are all the places
going on the Garden of Thoughts. Let everyone know.
Our friend Leve Shore, who actually I knew as Lon Shore in college. He's a yeshiva Orthodox Talmudic, but also Kabbalah Jew. And we're going to be talking about demons and the UFOs and the religious overlaps and connotations to that. That is all the rage. Just listen to Tucker Carlson and those thoughts. But we're going to get it from a different religious bent. Those of you who are very embedded in those worlds, you might be surprised how similar these ideas are. But it'll be fun. This Sunday there is no Garden of Thought because I've been pulled into Jedi duty. They've been very Sith-like. So. Kevin will tell you what's going on there because he roped himself in as well.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow night, of course, immediately after All Elite Wrestling, we have the Dynamite Bros. The Dynamite Bros Hoss at PGH Chris. They'll be breaking everything down. The go home show of All Elite Wrestling before All In. There'll be all that good breakdown from everything that's happened immediately. Of course, we heard about Jeff Lippman with the Garden of Thought. Also, I believe NXT time with D-Walk from the PUWF. They'll be doing a little bit of review there on NXT, talking about that. Then Thursday, the Evolve PUWF talks Evolve. They'll be breaking down everything Evolved in each and every form. I don't know if the Evolve effect will be on, or I think it's just audio platform. Sometimes they go live, but you'll catch that at two PWF shows on Thursdays, and then Fridays we have the Total Nonstop Jedis that we're going to break down everything with TNA Wrestling. They're going to be live this Thursday. We'll have the finals of the TNA Knockouts TV title. We'll definitely see who wins that and all the outcome and all the fallout of the past. TNA Lockdown was a very good pay-per-view. And then Saturday, of course, our weekly wrestling with Sports Jedis. That will break everything down, and throughout the course of the week, we get together, we conversate about everything that's happening in the world of professional wrestling. And then Sunday, we are going to be a split, but we got a lot to wrestling to cover. The Dynamite Bros, of course, they will be going immediately after All Elite Wrestling All In, their biggest show of the year. After the 8-hour marathon, they will go live, and they will break everything down. And then me and Jeff Lippman, yes, the NXT Padawan Awakening will be breaking down Hora de Calor AAA, and of course everything from Heatwave. And we ask you guys to subscribe, like, share. Thanks for everyone that's listening with us here tonight. Appreciate everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. We got to continue growing. YouTube, you're lingering on trying to get our first channel back. You're giving us radio silence. You're giving us the silent treatment. We need the Sports Jedi Network back. There's there's 17,000 plus subscribers there, and I've been doing that for 4 years, and it's a shame that someone hacked and took the email that belongs to that account, and you guys don't want to help. We ask you to help, and you don't provide any help. But meanwhile,
meaning YouTube. You're talking YouTube when you say that.
With YouTube,
not the listeners.
We know YouTube. But if you guys will help us at YouTube, hey, get their channel back, we'll really appreciate it. So, listeners, thank you so much. It's late. Get home safe. If you're listening on the NXT bus, getting home, or if you're listening on the audio platform, thank you for joining us. Hit that 5-star review. Follow us everywhere and everywhere. So, guys, may the sports be with you. Have a wonderful night. Buenas noches. Todos.
It's still real to me, damn it. I mean, thank you.
Take it easy, man.
Thank y'all guys. Y'all are awesome.